This is on the back of the marker. I was getting. That's the horseshoe they turned up, you know, whenever the day he was born. Alright, this tree, a small tree here in front, and then that tree there, I get it to zoom in, this tree there are seedlings off of that tree there that seems to be dying up here, they say. So that's the original one that was planted on Truman's birthday when he was born. And it's dying back, so they've got seedlings now growing, and there's one of the seedlings here and then here. So hopefully that tree won't die, but they'll have offshoots of it.
Yeah, we can come back to you. Well, we're on a time schedule, so that one.
The well over here is a 36-foot hand-dug well. It is original to the property. It probably has about 20 to 22 foot of water left in it, still in it. Some of it's rainwater, some of it's the old water. But like I said, it is original to the property. It would have been here when they were here. The smoke shed that we're looking at as well over here is also original to the property. They would have used it to dry their spices and their herbs, and they also would have used it to cure meats, and may have had a small corner of it set away for gardening tools and such, because Martha would have had a small garden back in those days. Everybody did. So
All right. Mm-hmm.
Are these the original bricks?
No, back in the time that they would have lived here, this would have actually been more of a rural area. There was probably a population of about 600 and they were on the outside of town. And right now we have a population of about 4,500, so you can see how much it's changed.
Right. Oh, all right. Thank you, honey.
If you guys want to go on into the parlor over there.
All right. Oh, look at this stove. Whoa.
Wow. Wow, look at that.
We have a guest book by the door if you all would like to sign it.
Actually, pretty interesting design.
Notice the current shades are green. But is that the color thing that they would have had back then?
They would have had their box windows, the box bay windows like this. So I think they just kind of found
Family
something that would
Bible.
have been fitting, and that's a lot of what we found whenever we were, they were researching. I've only been here a summer, so.
I love the wall.
We actually do that each room about, put it back in these days. And,
Sure.
Yeah.
And keep it
Have it kick off the whole.
and keep it authentic.
Yeah. You'll notice the furniture in the house, none of it is original to the Trumans. It's all of the time period. It was bought at a state sale or local. I'll kind of brag about. Did we all get a signed guest book? All right.
Yes.
Until he was 11 months old. John and Martha, which is his parents, moved here in 1881, or 1882. They got married in 1881 in Independence, Missouri. Moved here in 1882, bought this house, and if you guys notice the white picket fence around the yard out there, that's our property line. They bought the house on the property for $685 back in that day.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
a good deal.
Well, these days it's a good deal. Those days it was kind of expensive.
Yeah.
But a year later, they were able to purchase the lot catty corner. If you guys can look out the window or look at it in a few minutes. It's empty right now. You won't really see much but a lot. That's where John worked as a horse and mule trader. That was his job. He worked over there. He had a livery stable. He was close to the railroad, so it made it really easy for business. And they were actually able to leave here doubling their money because of that. In 1884, on May 8th, Harry was born in this bedroom right here. The doctor charged $15 to deliver him, which, like we said, was a lot of money back then. John had no problem paying it whatsoever because of the fact that Martha was pregnant before Harry, and she had a stillborn, and he's actually buried in the cemetery out west of town. So it's across from McDonald's. But on the night that Harry was born, his father was so excited he wanted to commemorate his son's birth. He planted the Austrian pine out in the corner of the yard. It's, like I said, it was planted the night he was born, so it's 127 years old. It's been hit by lightning and has a disease, so we're trying to baby it back to health and everything as well. But we have two seedlings. There's one here and one in the backyard of it.
Off of the same tree.
Off of the same
Right.
tree.
Well, that's
yes.
good. That's
Yes.
good.
He also hung a mule shoe above the outside of the door here, the front door. He hung it upside down or in your U-shape, so good luck can flow in rather than flow out on the night of Harry's birth. So, in the birthing room, if you guys notice on the north wall in there, there's a picture of Harry when he was 5 months old, and there's also a picture of his mother. You guys can kind of look at him and see those. That was within the time that he was here, so we like to keep those pictures up. Like I said, there is some interesting furniture in the house, and this is actually one that I like to talk about. This, they would have had like a table underneath it, but it would have been able to read by it and such. And they would have, it's on a chain and pulley. You notice that you can pull it down. That's how you light it. That's where you get your source of light down here. So, and then you could have also had little social gatherings around your light.
I just love that.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Isn't that pretty? Makes me want to live back there in that time just to have it.
This,
Just to have it.
We didn't have to put up all the stuff today.
this here is a Todd barrel stove. It's really interesting piece of furniture. If they would have had it, I would have been jealous. This is my favorite piece of furniture in the entire house. You can load your firewood in at the end, just like a normal firewood stove. This here, though, swivels off. You can boil water on the top, keep your house moisturized and such, because they don't have the same means that we do today. And then, greatest, coolest part of this thing in the world. Both ends lift off. You can heat them up on your stove here, wrap them in a towel or blanket, and they're called bed warmers. You
Bed
put them at
warmer.
the end of your bed.
I knew it.
Put them at the end of your bed, and that's how they kept warm, because they don't have the electricity, the heated blankets and such like we're spoiled with today.
Oh, I love
Isn't
it.
that gorgeous?
I love it.
Like I said,
Wish I would have brought my camera.
I'd be jealous. Over in here we have a room on your east.
Ooh, I guess I go get a picture right quick.
The room at your east over here is a hired hand's bedroom. He worked for John over at the livery stable. He also probably would have helped out in the yard and in the house a little bit, but he worked for his room and board. That was his source of pay. He didn't get the money like our hired hands would get today. So, there's a little writing table in there. He would have had to write up his own bills and everything, and this is just where he would have stayed. He has a nice cozy bedroom. Looks like it might be bigger than the birthing room, which was actually just used as a sick room and a birthing room. A lot of people ask me that, so I like to mention that to them. The corner shelving over here is original to the house. They would have had to have a ladder to get up and down it, because on average the women in those days were about 5'2". So they would have had their shorter stoves. They would have needed ladders to get up everything. They would have needed their ladders and such. And then they also would have had this as their main means of storage, because if you notice, if you look around the house, there's not very many doors, hence not very many rooms. That's because in the state of Missouri back in those days, the more rooms you had in your house, you were charged extra property taxes. So,
Charged by the room,
yeah, they were charged by the room.
not by square footage.
No,
Yeah.
so they didn't have any closets really to put all their stuff. They just had to be more conservative with their stuff.
I love that baby chair.
It'd be
Yeah,
nice if we
actually.
could say it was actually Truman's.
But still, I mean, that's fine. No, it's still so nice.
There's some things around here that I would love to be like, yeah, he sat in this. But I can't tell you this. The guest book that y'all signed on, he touched it.
Oh, cool. Cool.
They would have churned their butter, and after they were done churning their butter, that butter churner actually outdates the house a little bit. They would have probably had their own crank churner, because that's what they upgraded to by those days. After they were done churning their butter, they take the butter and then put it in one of these. This is called a butter mold. You've got an open end here, and then this moves. Put it in there, let it set for a little bit, and then you just pop it right on your table. You got a little mold of butter, and this one's actually called a pineapple mold because of the specific design. This is a flowery design, and they have all sorts of different designs. So.
Well, that's neat.
They would have also, and that would have actually been the child's job of the house.
Yeah.
So, they would have ground their own coffee as well, and then they would have also made their own candles for lighting, because they wouldn't have had the electricity like we said earlier, and they would have had to have something to see around the house. So they would have made their own candles. They would have put their wicks in down through the end, pulled them through, and then they probably would use beeswax more because it had the slower melting process. So they were able to keep their candles longer.
That's so neat.
And you guys are free to go upstairs. There's a small room up there, so probably just a couple at a time. There's 2 bedrooms. There's one bedroom on the south side would have been Harry's parents' bedroom, and that's where he would have stayed after he was born. And then the one above the kitchen on the north side would have been more of a guest room. And then we'll finish the tour downstairs once you guys are done checking it out there. Yeah, it took me a while to figure out what that cornbread mold was. I always told people they probably would have cooked their eggs in it.
Oh, no.
I was like, if I were them, I would have used it for my eggs.
That would have made a cute design.
It would have.
You're wrong. You go first. Well, I'm slower than he is. I love that bracket. Oh my God. That is so.
Somebody told me we needed to have like painted smoke stains on there. I was like, yeah, we'll just leave it like that. It was
There's the
weird.
water pail.
I don't think so. I'm not.
Uh-oh, White House cookbook, dear. She's got one of them at home. Yep, that's the White House cookbook. There's some great recipes in there. I'm serious. I get a picture of this right quick, the Western.
When was the house built? Do you have any idea?
It was built between 1880 and 1882.
And there we are upstairs. Won't take me long to get video and then I'll be out of the way. Hey look, nice guy picture. Right? Oh, that's beautiful. I'm gonna get a picture of that. Why is it not focusing? Maybe because of the sun, but anyway. You're right. Just look at that dress. Just give me a second, let me get some of that dress. There's some more of that wonderful furniture. And then look at that quilt. I know, and the shawls and everything. And that headboard right quick.
That's a matchbox.
Look at that sewing machine, man. Okay.
To deliver his vice presidential speech. He actually did that up on the square. It's about 2 blocks down, and there's a statue up there of him. He came back again in 1959 on April 14th to the dedication of this house. The United Auto Workers dedicated this house to the state. On that day, Harry came in, he made a little speech and everything, was kind of excited because he hadn't passed away yet and they dedicated something to him. So he was actually able to be there. And when he came in, like I told you, he touched the guest book podium there. He signed our guest book that day, and that's the podium we had. He signed it, Harry Truman, Independence, Missouri, retired farmer. So he wasn't oh, I'm the greatest president in the world.
Right.
He was more humble than that. So I always find that really interesting, and I love the gasps I get from that. You guys are welcome to any brochures, and I do have 3 little things outside that I'll mention. But before we do that, I also want to mention there's 2 monuments over there. The first one over closer to the house was put up on the day of the dedication by the United Auto Workers. It kind of just outlines a couple things Harry did in his lifetime, like his senatorial work, his presiding judge over Jackson County, and a couple other things are on there. And then the second monument, which is closer to the fence, has his face on it, engraved. It kind of scared me. But it was put up by the American Legion on what would have been Harry's 100th birthday. He had passed away at age 88, but on his 100th birthday they put that up for him to commemorate him. So, but we do have a couple things outside if you'd like to follow me out here.
Someday, if the economy ever turns around, we won't get.
And this lot over here was also property. And in fact, I think she said they were wanting to take the center here, or this house, or whatever it was, and move it or tear it down and then put the school back here where it was originally.